Security Breach universe has just dropped the secrets of the Mimic. Oh, and Steel will cooking on this one. We're going all the way back to 1979 to learn all about the origins of the Mimic.
Hello? Well, if you're hearing this, then...
Like and subscribe!
I know this 8 days of FNAF has been absolutely hype. To celebrate the 10th anniversary, Steel will just drop today the teaser trailer for their brand new project, The Secret of the Mimic. And as we all know, this is obviously some sort of continuation in the storyline for Security Breach, but not a sequel to Ruin. This is more like a prequel way back in 1979. Now, the trailer may have only been 42 seconds long today, but there are so many things packed into this tiny little segment that it warranted a things you have missed video. It's mimicking time, baby. Let's get straight into the trailer. We'll refamiliarize ourselves with it, and then we'll discuss each and every single little thing that you have missed. If there's something I have missed, let me know down in the comment section below. And always remember to like and subscribe these videos, because I'm going to be giving away some copies of this game when it drops next year. And I'm going to be using these videos and selecting a random comment, so make sure you're commenting down in the comment section below as well. Look at them, man. Look at that Mimic right there. Look at the Mimic right there. They are beautiful. They're going to be an absolutely terrifying creature in this game here. Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. The Mimic, who is a goat of an antagonist, is going to be a present threat throughout this game. Now, let's go all the way back to the start. First thing we notice, we are zooming up, we're sort of panning the camera across a clearly 1970s carpet. That is a 1970s carpet. Don't believe me, go Google right now. It'll be one of the top options when you search for 1970s carpet. We already know it's going to be 1979, as we'll see later on in the trailer, but that's a 1970s carpet. So, the main question is this in a pizzeria, somebody's house, or is it in a carnival? Now, I don't know if it's in like a carnival tent, like is teased in the Fall Fest poster, as we can see right here. We've got the ticket or the flyer or the poster right here, and in the background, you have got a big old tent with 1970 written on it. So it's the right time period, but I'm not certain there'll be a carpet in a tent. But if it's a permanent fixture, hey, you never know. This might be in somebody's house, this box. Now, if you don't know about the lore to do with the Mimic was created by Edwin Murray. Now, Edwin wanted to create something to occupy his child, his son, while Edwin was working, and he created the Mimic. The Mimic was designed to copy his son's actions so they could interact with each other, so they could play with each other, so they could have a good time. Unfortunately, Edwin's son was playing with traffic and got hit by a truck or whatever it was, and he was sent to an isekai dimension because he's no longer here. Edwin got very angry, destroyed the Mimic, and that's where once Mimic learned about aggression, about violence, and all of Edwin's agony was poured into this poor robotic machine. From then on, the Mimic was completely changed, and we'll see a pattern of development. That's when the Mimic just went a little bit loco, you know what I'm saying? So, Edwin created it. I think it was in Edwin's factory. So this might be a reference to Edwin's factory here. That's where the Mimic was found anyway. I don't know if he was ever around at Edwin's house. I didn't read the book. I've just heard all about it and done my research inside of it. So, that's the origins of a Mimic. The Mimic was created for his son. So, at some point, the Fazbear Entertainment Company has got hold of the Mimic, and this might be when they have found him inside Edwin's factory and thought this will be a nice endoskeleton for our beautiful Fall Fest or our beautiful carnival attraction. Let's bring this guy along, let's put him in a jester suit, and let's use him. So, this whole time period, it all works out quite cleverly. Now, that's a good box. That right there is a box that somebody's put love and care into. That would strike me as it would be the Mimic's box. However, has Edwin created this? Because originally the Mimic didn't have legs. Very important. It wasn't until later on when some of the Fazbear employees found the Mimic did they then give him his legs. So it would make sense for the Mimic to originally perhaps be placed in a box like this, which again is entertaining for a child. The child can unwind the box and the Mimic pops out and they interact with each other and have a good time. So it would make sense for them to be in a box like this to be carted around in. Very interesting. But the similarities with a puppet are very telling. Obviously, you've got the same song that they play. I have a little bit of a theory on that later on, but we'll go through it. Now, The next really interesting part, apart from the box, the decor is amazing. It looks like somebody's put love and care into the mask right there. The mask right there looks very familiar. Now, if you remember the nightmarish night 4 in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, we were trapped inside a spring lock suit. We were trapped inside a spring lock suit, and we had to try and escape, or we had to wait for the mini arenas to leave us alone, and we had to fiddle with the spring locks and make sure that we didn't get spring locked inside the suit and end gamed by Baby, basically, because was it Baby that shoved us in the suit? I cannot remember how it went now. It's been so long ago, but it was the notorious night, and for years, we've been trying to work out what springlock suit were we inside. Because the only springlock suits we knew of was Fredbear and for Spring Bonnie. We know what happened to the Spring Bonnie suit, and it didn't look like a Fredbear head. So we're like, what is this mysterious springlock suit? I think finally we have learned. It is the Mimic's suit from this carnival. Now, go with me here. The Mimic, at some point during the Tales of the Pizzaplex books, the Mimic jumped inside of a Jester springlock suit. Now, inside this Jester springlock suit, he actually gets spring-locked, and this is how he gets deactivated. He gets deactivated inside a Jester springlock suit, which is this suit right in front of our very eyes, right here. This is hype. This is so good. My research, I tell you, when I've been cooking over here. Now, I might be wrong. This is all on the same day the trailer released. We're gonna get so much more information, but it's nice to cook again. It's nice to cook. So, we have got this spring lock suit right here, and it would make sense. Now, this is about to go on another big tangent here. People are gonna be like, what? Why are there suddenly 3 spring lock suits? Well, let me... Sit down, little bro, little sis, because I'm about to tell you, there have always been 3 springlock suits teased throughout the games. Now, do you remember the Paper Pal friends, the Paper Pals? There was always 3, right? There was always 3. You had Freddy on the right, you had Bonnie in the middle, and you had a strange one on the left. Looks kind of familiar now, right? It looks like the suit that we are seeing right before our eyes in this brand new teaser. It looks like, potentially, this is a child's drawing of the Jester suit. We are cooking up here. We're cooking up a storm. It's going crazy. We're going crazy over here. So if this is true, right? If this is true, this is a mysterious 3rd spring lock suit. Now, why is this suit here? What is the connection with Fredbear and Spring Bonnie? Well, if we go back to FNAF Security Breach Ruin and FNAF Security Breach, there are so many posters as Easter eggs going around the game. You've got the ticket to Fredbear's, you've got the Fredbear poster, you've got the second Fredbear poster, we're talking about a pizza, and you've got the Spring Bonnie poster where he's got eaten an ice cream. Then, in Ruin, right at the end, when you're running away from the Mimic, you were down in the Mimic's lair, one of the endings, the Brazil ending, where you go crazy, it's a Fredbear cardboard cutout. Now, of all the animatronics, out of everything he has seen, why has the Mimic tricked you into going into a Fredbear cardboard cutout mystery world? Because he knows Fredbear. And the Mimic can only mimic things that they have seen. They have seen Fredbear because they've been in the same location as them before. Now, why are they using a Mimic instead of a human inside the suits? This is where we're going a little bit crazy here. Obviously, you've got William. William liked using the Spring Bonnie suit, right? Then you have got potentially Henry, Emily, the man that created the robots and the animatronics. Potentially he was using the Fredbear suit, which I think has been theorized for years. Now they need a 3rd person. There isn't a 3rd person. But they have found this strange animatronic. They can give it legs, they can shove it inside a Jester suit, which works perfectly for a carnival. And then you've got all the other mascot costumes lying around, as we've seen in the Mimic's lair. You've got the elephant, you've got the lion, which you don't technically see, and you've also got the crow there as well. So all of these fit in well with a carnival. Perfect, right? It all fits together with the Fall Fest posters we've been getting, with the Fredbear's tickets we've been getting, and it just starts clicking into place. Now, this is where it all starts getting even more crazy. We've got the animatronic right here before our eyes. Told you, I was cooking with this episode. A lot of it might be wrong, but this is all just from the one teaser. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down in the comment section below. This is where things start getting really crazy. Okay, so you got the film. It looks like what we are seeing here is some sort of film projection. We're watching an old tape on somebody's file, or it's something like that. Suddenly the film stops. And why does the film stop? Because there is a fire. The film either burns or it disappears, but remember there was a fire at Fall Fest? There was a fire or something like that. Was it in Help Wanted 2? The carnival area burned down as one of the teasers to get the best ending, and that's where it shows you that Fall Fest burned to the ground, or the tent burned to the ground, and from there, they probably took some of the suits and the animatronics. They took the Fredbear suit from there, they took the Spring Body suit from there, and I think they took the Jester suit from there too. And I think they repurposed the Jester suit into the puppet, but they left the Mimic where they were. They either had to get rid of the Mimic because the Mimic is the one that burnt down the place, or the Mimic was a hazard, it was dangerous, and William was like, I'm crazy, but we can't have the Mimic around here. Something like that. As we see in the Bite of 83, we've obviously got the Fredbear, and we've got Spring Bonnie on the stage, but we don't have anywhere the Mimic. And we know the Mimic's been around at this point, so the Mimic is probably buried underground or hidden away in a pizzeria somewhere, hidden from the light of day. But the puppet is around. We know the puppet's around because the puppet, being some kind of spirit, is what, when William takes his first victim, that's when the puppet saves Charlie, and Charlie's soul goes inside the puppet, and that's when the whole puppet stuff starts happening. So I think the reason we are getting the box here, now I'm telling you, I think the reason we're getting the box here, right? This is crazy. I'm telling you. I might be mad. The reason this box plays the same song as the puppet, the reason that there is a box in the first place, the reason somebody appears, the Mimic appears out the box, is to show the connection between the Mimic and the puppet. Okay? And I think they repurposed the suit that's inside here, which is a Springlock suit, as the puppet, but not fully, because we know the puppet's too thin to be a Springlock suit. I think they may just use components of it, maybe even just the head, and they repackage it, because if you have a look at the head is it's got similarities to the puppet. Now, this is the biggest stretch of the video right here. Biggest stretch of the video right here, but they could repurpose it into the puppet. There's just so many similarities. If we have a look through the Ruin as well, there's so many connections to Sister Location and Security Breach, the Pizzaplex there. We have got the plush babies for one. The plush babies are around and they're acting chaotic, and that's obviously got to do something to do with Circus Baby. We have the underground tunnels right at the end where you see the Mimic, and we've got the Scooper Room. That's Sister Location coded right there. And we also have all the Nightmarian plushies around the place. It would make sense for Nightmarian, the puppet, Charlie, to be trying to watch over the area because she knows what the Mimic is like, and the fact that the Mimic is there, and there's a Nightmarian plushie in the level with the Mimic right at the end. It shows the connection between the two of them. And Steel Wool's trying to tell us something. There's something here. There's like a massive connection here, and I think we'd be foolish not to at least agree there's a connection here between the puppet and the Mimic. Why a box? Of everything they could have done, they didn't need to use a box. They definitely didn't need to use the same Grandfather's Clock song. There's a huge connection here. We'd be fools not to notice it. Whether they're the same character and the Mimic is no longer in the suit anymore, and the suit's been repurposed and turned into the puppet for the Fredbear's location, or they've just used the idea of the puppet, or they've used the idea of this Jester Mimic for the puppet, and they've just gone on from there. Or they've used the same box, something like that. There's a huge connection here. Either way, that big ramble's on. That is very important, in my humble opinion. Let me know your thoughts of theories down in the comment section below. Let's move on to the next point. 1979. The biggest thing that's throwing everybody for a loop right now is this is the earliest date in the FNAF games. Before, we had 1983. It was the Bite of 1983 when the lobotomy of William Afton's son happened, and that was the earliest date we had. Now that has been completely thrown out the window, and we've gone 4 years before that. learning about everything else. Now, I'm pretty certain this is even before William has started doing his endgaming. So this is William's. I don't know if he's a nutcase at the moment. He's not fully gone anyway, because the puppet technically probably isn't even around at this point. We don't even know if Henry and William are even got a pizzeria at this point. We don't even know if they've got a diner. At this point in time, it probably started off as a small carnival attraction, whether it goes from state to state or if it's a permanent location somewhere, but they've got these mascot costumes, they've probably got crazy technology. Everybody in the 1970s is like, because the Fall Fest poster says 1970, so that's crazy. So we've got a date as early as 1970, and over those 9 years, something incredible happens. It looks like the game's going to be set in 1979, and we're going to be seeing the fall of this Fall Fest carnival program, dinering experience, extravaganza, circus area. We're going to see the fall of this. It's going to all burn to the ground. William Afton is going to experience his first fire in his life, and they're going to then, from this, use the capital they have earned in the carnival arena to make their first diner, and this is when they bring the Fredbear costume, the Spring Bonnie costume, and then the puppet or jest or whatever it is, that third Springlock suit. I'm still blown away that there's potentially 3 Springlock suits. It's all up in the air, it's all crazy theories at the moment, but 1979, that's a fact right now. This is the earliest game in the timeline we have got, and this is the origins of the Mimic. This is where we're going to learn about how the Mimic was created, how they found the Mimic. We're going to learn about Edwin Murray. Is Edwin Murray going to be retconned any way, shape, or form? I don't think so. I think we're going to learn about the background of the Mimic. We need to hear the Mimic's story. We need to learn why the Mimic was created, what happened to the Mimic, where the Mimic went, and this is going to be solving all of that. The Mimic is such a good character, but at the end of Ruin, all we see of him is a vicious, tricking, conniving little animal that wants to escape. We need to see the journey, and that's perfect. That's why Steelwool is cooking up this game here, and we're going to learn all about the Mimic, who's potentially going to be even better than William Afton. I've got high hopes for the Mimic. It's such a cool idea, and to see the evolution of the Mimic, it's going to mean even higher stakes when we go back to the continuation of the Ruin storyline, when it's going to pick up with Roxy and finding Cassie at the end of the elevator crash, and then Gregory and Vanessa and Freddy coming to try and save them from what's happening, and then them all teaming up Avengers style to endgame the Mimic. We're going to then have stakes. We're not just going to be like, oh, endgame the Mimic, we win, haha. We're going to feel sorry for the Mimic. There's going to be a character arc for them. We're going to have feels for them, and that is how you make a story. 1979, that's when the game is set. You've probably already seen that one though, but if you didn't, we're going back in time, baby! The origins of the Mimic. I'm going to learn about their secret. And the rest of the tape here is just the tape burning up, basically. It's showing this is all burning up. It's showing that there's a fire burning through the tape. We're learning that it's set back in 1979, and the whole thing's going to finish off in a blaze of glory with a fire. I was trying to look in the pictures over here, Rorschach picture style, to see if I could figure out anything. At first, I was thinking maybe Eclipse is in there, maybe the sun or the moon, maybe their image. Remember from the Balloon Boy minigame, if you remember back to FNAF Security Breach, there was that secret Balloon Boy game, which, funnily enough, is set at a carnival. Please tell me Balloon Boy's not going to be in this game, but that was set at a carnival, which is very cool, and that was in the Mimic / the Moon's special secret room there. It wasn't their green room, but it was where they hung out with the daycare. There was a secret room there, and as you went through the level, glitching through stuff like you did before, you got the Eclipse sun that was hiding up in the sky. Now, we already saw in Help Wanted 2, there was the carnival level. You had the big carousel, and the carousel was going crazy, and the moon was trying to come and get you, and you had to fix the carousel and turn everything back on so the moon would get scared away. That's obviously set in a carnival setting as well, so potentially we're going to see the moon appear in the game as well, but we don't really have any contextual clues of that in this trailer. It's just a little bit theory for the future. This place is going to burn down at the very end of it. Something crazy is going to happen, and then the Mimic is either going to get free or hidden away or buried or disappeared, and then we're going to move on to Fredbear's Family Diner. This game is going to be absolute peak. I think it's going to solve a lot of the holes in the storyline people want solved, and it makes sense why they're going back to the start to finish the Mimic off, give him his through line, give him his storyline, give him his motivations, give us history, why this character does things the way he does them, and then when we go back to the DLC, Ruin 2, or Ruin Fixed, or Security Breach 2, or Security Breach The End, we will finally get to see and feel justified in endgaming, or saving in, or have multiple endings in which we get to choose what we do with the Mimic. That will mean more. The stakes will be higher. It will be a much more satisfying ending now that we know what is going on. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to play this game. Either way, that is it. I've showed you everything you have missed in this 42-second trailer. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything I missed, let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts, theories, and experiments are for Security Breach. I know there's going to be some hints to this, and there's got to be some hints to this in Security Breach and Ruin. I want to do a video on them. I want to go and explore those games and find out everything we can about the secret of the Mimic before we move on to the game itself. But either way, wow, what a video. If you did enjoy it today, please hit that like button. Really is appreciated. It's such a good time to be a FNAF fan right now. So subscribe if you're new around here. Hit those notification bells, because tomorrow is 5 laps at Freddy's. We've got so much cool stuff going on, and then we've got Interpit following day, and you know we're beating that game day one. Either way, run about my faces now. There's going to be another couple of videos I know you will enjoy. Click on one of them bad boys, and I'll see you over there. Either way, I'm Razzbowski. You've been the beautiful Raspberries, as always, for watching, and I love each and every single one of you. Goodbye!